do our legislators also have some responsibility in this?
A major responsibility. I mean, they're the ones that are writing these laws that really aren't that good.
Right, they aren't that good, and I was listening to a testimony that was done earlier in this year about legislative intent and the way the law is written and stuff like that.
Watch that.
And you know, the legislators write the laws, but the legislators often think that they're unaccountable. And it was interesting in listening to this individual testify about it. He said, you know, legislative intent, what does that mean? Because one legislator might say, hey, I want to pass this law because if I pass his law, he'll pass my law. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of trade-offs going on. So the legislators are playing games with your family's life.
And yours.
And my family's life. And
all these families that are in this movement, and even more families that we don't know about.
Yeah. So, you know, a lot of these legislators, they talk about issues like, you know, talk about the border. The border is a big issue. They'll talk about taxes, and taxes is a huge issue. They're mm-hmm. failing on a lot of these issues. But when you talk about families, they say, well, that's a social issue, that's an issue for the church, or that's this or that. And it's kind of like they don't want to really, number one, our legislators do not go into the courts. I think it should be a requirement that our legislators go into the courts, the family courts, the anti-family courts, see what takes place mm-hmm. in their districts at least once a quarter. And more, I'm thinking it should be more than that.
I think so too. I think they should see the damage that's being caused by these laws. I mean, you look at our family code, and it's, yeah. I mean, all these codes, I mean, and they really contradict each other.
The Texas Anti-Family Code, as I prefer to call it, it's about 1,600 pages, and it is, you know, I've often called it the monstrosity. It's just, you know, the stuff that is in there. There's stuff that's not defined. They talk about the best interest of the child, but nobody's ever defined it. Mm-hmm. And yet when it comes down to a case like yours, the best interest of the child, we have to be advocating for the best interest of the child. Number one, nobody knows what it means. Number two, if you read the Texas Family Code, it tells the judge they are supposed to rule in such a manner so as to maximize Title 4D funds, federal reimbursements of the state. Mm-hmm. So the best interest of the children is to be currency for the state.
Right.
That's pretty sick.
Didn't Steve Bresnan say that he loves this state and that he'll only do what's in the best interest of this state? Didn't he make that
So I don't know about that. I don't remember that one. But the one thing about Steve Bresnan, the lobbyist for the divorce attorneys, and his
child bride.
Child bride, yeah. There we go. I'm trying to think how do I put this? You know, Amy, is that they don't have children.
No.
They're childless. And yet, sometimes they get up there, when they speak, they talk about the best interest of the child is somehow that they know. Steve Bresnan had a post one place that he said that he thought that no parent should have more than 2 children.
Yes, I've seen that one.
And Amy Bresnan, of course, didn't have any. I don't know. I wonder, though, with Amy, how many children she may have been able to carry, but possibly something happened between conception and... I don't know that for a fact. But I mean, there are some things with Amy that caused me to wonder whether she, I don't know, they're just like things like that. But again, our state talks about the best interest of the child. None of our legislators know what that means. And I know that came up this last session once again.
It did, whenever you were asking Harold Dutton, Representative Dutton, what does that mean? And he avoided you. He avoided your question. Yeah. That's not in this bill.
And he shut me down early. He stopped my testimony too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and there were other things that have happened along the way. So